This is the biggest miss of the Tesla Model 3 and Y, but at least now we have a solution for it. Hey guys, today we're addressing one of the major shortcomings of the Tesla Model 3 and Y, and that is the missing instrument cluster. In traditional cars, drivers are accustomed to seeing the important information right in front of them. However, when the Model 3 and Y was introduced, it was notably lacking this feature. While Tesla does include this in their upscale cars like the Model S and X, they opted to leave out their lower trims as a cost-saving measure. This meant having to divert your attention from the road to the screen to see vital information. While I've adopted to looking at the screen, I understand that some drivers want to see the critical information directly in their line of sight. Luckily for you, I have a solution. It's a 9-inch screen instrument cluster. This goes right behind your steering wheel, and then you have all the critical driving information right in front of you. It's really useful if you prefer to use Google Maps, Waze, or Apple Maps over Tesla's navigation system. It gives you the flexibility to choose the app that best suits your navigation needs. The instrument cluster comes from Yard, the same brand that has brought you the beloved rear screen. I'll leave a link to this in the description below and use my code TESLATAINMENT to save $80 on your purchase. Stay tuned as I guide you through the simple installation process, showcase its features, and give you my final thoughts. Let's get started. I'm gonna start with a quick unboxing. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to see this part, but I think it's interesting to see how they package things up. Companies that do good packaging usually care about the user experience, therefore they usually deliver high quality products. This was packaged pretty nicely. Each component had plastic wrap over it. It comes with a double-sided sticky tape to secure the wire, pry tools, wires to hook up to your car, and of course the screen itself. Now, let's go install it. It's a very easy process to install. You want to head to the back seat, take those pliers, and pop out this cover here. There's a port here that allows the screen to gather information about the car and perform some controls. As you can see here, I already have my rear screen plugged into this port. The great thing about this is that even though the rear screen and instrument cluster are using the same port, they both can still work at the same time. All you have to do is daisy chain the wires. You now want to plug in the second wire that will link directly to the instrument cluster. Now take that panel, place it back on, and close it up. You're going to take that second wire, throw it over to the center console, and tuck it into this panel here. By doing this, you keep the wire out of the way, and it looks much cleaner and more integrated. Here's what it should look like after you're done tucking it in. All you have to do now is to attach the screen onto your dash and plug in the screen. Now I'm done. It was that easy to install an instrument cluster, and I think it's a great accessory to add to your car, especially if you like to see the critical information right in front of you. Now let's dive into the features of the instrument cluster. There are a few ways to control the screen. One way is to use the right scroll wheel. That lets you scroll between the different options, settings, CarPlay, and seeing your tire pressure. It's also a touchscreen, so you can just swipe between the different options. To select a particular setting, you would press the scroll wheel to the right. Let's check out the settings. In the first menu option called Current, you can adjust the volume, the brightness, and the time zone. If I were to look into the control settings, I can adjust the Bluetooth, the audio output, drive seat direction, the overspeed reminder, and the steering wheel controls. Next option is language, where you can choose between English, Chinese Simplified, and traditional Chinese. So this screen is still great if you're in the Chinese market, and I'd imagine that they probably release new languages in the future. Click the software tab, you see more information about what version it's running on. One of the great things about this instrument cluster is the visuals. Let's put the car in drive and see how the graphics change. So here, it shows the arrow pointing forward, making it very obvious that the car is in drive. When I throw the car in park, it goes back to the original visualizations. It's in drive again, and now if I put it back into reverse, again you have the arrow pointing backwards, making it very obvious that the car is in reverse. The other cool thing is that when I start driving, it will then change to show the tire's PSI. In real time, you can see what the PSI is for each of your tires. The best feature about this instrument cluster is that it supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So to connect, you just select the CarPlay option, you go to your iPhone, and then you click Car Kit. It'll take a few seconds to connect, but once you do, you can use your navigation, use your Spotify, or use the phone. Let me look through the different options. So here's the Google Maps GPS. Here is Spotify. And here's the phone option. You can also use the CarPlay compatible apps. So this is really great if you don't like using Tesla's navigation system and you prefer to use like Google Maps or Waze or Apple Maps instead. So one reason to use this instead of Tesla's navigation is that if you want Tesla's navigation to show traffic data, you have to pay for the premium connectivity plan. If you don't want to pay for that plan but still want traffic data, you can use this instrument cluster to hook up to your Apple CarPlay. You could then choose to use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze, or whichever navigation app you prefer. So let me punch in directions and see what it looks like on the screen. So you get a very familiar user interface, and what I like about this screen is that it's very wide. The best part is that you can activate Siri by pressing the left scroll wheel button. Let's see that in action. Hey Siri, take me to Disneyland.
Getting directions to Disneyland Park.
Just like that, you can change your navigation just by using Siri and your voice. Should we go to Disneyland? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to take this car out for a drive so you can see how it looks next to the Tesla screen. Let's get driving. So here's what it looks like from my point of view. I make sure to position the screen in a place where I think it works best for me. I like that I can easily see the navigation and the miles per hour in my line of sight without having to look to the right at the Tesla screen. That was one of the biggest complaints when the Model 3 first came out, and now we have this simple solution to remedy some of those complaints. Do I think Tesla should include an instrument cluster in the Model 3 and why? Yes, I do. Do I think they'll eventually add it? The answer is no. Here are my final thoughts. I'll start with the cons. I personally think the wires could be better hidden, but they did the best that they could. And when using Tesla's car navigation, it does not appear on the screen. So the integration isn't as good if Tesla were to include their own instrument cluster. Now, the pros. First, this fills a gap left by Tesla. Second, the information is easier and clearer to see. Third, you don't take your eyes off the road to see the basic information. The real question is, should you get this? And I say it depends. If you're one of the drivers that like to see all of the basic car information in your line of sight, then I highly recommend this product. I like how slim it is and how easy it was to install. If you want this screen, check the description for the link below and use my code TESLATAINMENT to save money on your purchase. Like if you found this video useful, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest Tesla accessories. As always, thank you for watching and catch you guys next time.